Recording in progress.
So this is the 2024 final exam. But I am going to change up because we did series a little differently this year. It was all one part. Any calculator allowed. So you're allowed to use graph calculator through the whole test. And I'll probably do the same thing, I'm guessing. Maybe, I don't know, because I do want you to graph stuff, so maybe we'll see. I'll let you know. That's what happened last year. It was 2 hours. It's still gonna be 2 hours this year. You could leave after 90 minutes, though. You don't have to stay the whole 2 hours. So I had designed it to be 90 minutes. So that way there's a little bit of a buffer. The location, just so you know, I don't know where it was last year, but the location is going to be here or next door, Mr. Band's room. So I have 39 students among 2 sections. 6 of you guys have extended time. The extended time since we'll be in the library. And I'll be going back and forth. The rest of you guys actually get to take it here in your room, which is nice. But that's 33 students. I can't put 33 students in here. So there'll be some students spilling into the other room. And Mr. Kevin Morris will proctor. So you'll have a math teacher there. He's very smart. If you have questions, of course, I think I'm pretty smart. So you can ask me questions too. But I will be floating around, just so you know, because I also have 34 Algebra 2 students, 14 of which are extended time. So they'll be in the library as well. 20 will be in the prax gym. So I'm going to be in the prax gym. I'm going to be in the library. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be probably getting about 30,000 steps in that 4-hour time frame. We've been walking around a lot. So just so you know, I'll be do my best to kind of be available. But you guys, most likely, most of you guys will be in here, the room next door, just so you know. But 2 hours. It's you guys know what time it is on Tuesday? 12:30. 12:30, yes. You guys have a G period beforehand if you have a G period class. What else so the questions I had, there were a total of 15 questions. Yeah. The final exam last year had 15 questions. So it's like a test and a half. Usually we have about 10 questions, 9 or 10, right? What kind of topics did I have? So this is gonna be kind of quite a bit I'll be talking about. Definitely had stuff on graphs of derivatives. So definitely want to be able to practice that. I'll try to see if I can do a delta math if there's a good delta math thing I could do. I will say it's a little inferior when it comes to calculus, but I'll try. And I'm gonna try to produce other stuff for you guys for Wednesday. There was definitely stuff on sequences and series, and they were pretty straightforward. Looks like they only had 3. I promise you're not gonna do anything really hard on sequence series. I know there was a hard one on our test that we had last week. I'm gonna talk about that too, in case you guys are still curious how that works. So 3 question sequence series, and they're pretty fundamental, I'd say. They weren't that bad. I will put some more stuff on convergence and divergence. I think I need to do that, but I don't want to do too much because you guys had it recently. I probably won't do a power series. Yeah, maybe something with geometric, perhaps. But I'll keep it pretty. I'm not gonna do like a proof type question. I'm gonna keep it pretty fundamental in that regard. Definitely limits. You gotta know your limits. Lots of stuff on limits, for sure. It's pretty heavy, actually. There are 3 questions on limits, actually.
Sorry, how many bullet points?
15 total. The third bullet point says 15 questions. Yeah, sorry, my handwriting sucks. Definitely the formal definition of the derivative. You guys remember that, the limit definition? So definitely that for sure. Where I actually do want you to show me that. Definitely something about tangent lines. I'm literally actually going through the final right now and telling what I asked. So, um, something with continuity slash differentiability, piecewise functions. Remember, I gave you guys a piecewise function or some letters you had to solve for those constants, and you're told that the function is continuous differentiable. Yeah, figure out what like A and B were. That's you'll see that for sure. I love those questions. And there's one on the practice test I showed you guys, so you can practice that today. Um, chain rule is actually a double chain rule. So you gotta do the chain rule twice. Oh, geez, I can't write. Um, something with discontinuities, a graph. So I give you a graph with a bunch of discontinuities. You kind of have to tell me some stuff about it. Linear motion. I'll give you a function. You have to tell me what's the velocity, what's the acceleration, all those kind of things. When's speeding up, slowing down, when's at rest. Um, yeah, this is it's more something with derivatives and tables. So that's kind of for the most part, I'm gonna keep it pretty much similar to this. I don't see myself really serious. I mean, definitely need to ask this. I have to ask this. I would not, that would not be right. Definitely big on the tables, and you have one on the practice test that I just showed you. That's great. Chain rule. Yeah, there's plenty of the test from 6 years or 7 years ago. I remember. You have that. Definition of derivative, tangent lines, continuity, piecewise function, practice continuity. So definitely those practices will help. You can see it's very heavy on calculus, right? Not so heavy in sequence series. What I probably will do is I might trade one of the limit questions, perhaps. And they put like an extra question on convergence divergence. I think that's fair. But if you think about it, if it's 15 questions and sequence series is just one unit, that's like 1/5. I don't want to go too heavy on that. Let's just have that's on it. Now notice that the first two units were not included. That was on polynomial rational functions and exponential log functions. So I'm not gonna ask you to solve like a log. Like if you look at our so I could probably share this as a one sec. Let me save this. Hold on. Export. There we go. Okay, cool. One thing I want to show you guys really, really quickly here. Oh, let me share my full screen. I'll stop sharing this. Share full screen. Yeah, so you might remember our tests from January and February, and those were pretty easy. Actually, we're gonna retool this class next year where we're not gonna spend as much time on this stuff. But if you remember this stuff here, um, I do want to put a little bit of stuff from the test we had this year. This was hold on, where the heck is it? There it is. Okay. So this test we had logs. Sorry, polynomials and rational functions. I'm not going to ask this question. Like, in terms of all the complex zeros, I'm not going to ask that. The end behavior I could ask though. So we'll probably give you a polynomial function. I'll probably say, hey, find me let's figure out the limit of this. I might give you something that's was that? Yeah, I probably would. Yeah. And I think what I'd probably do is Thomas, guys, I'm talking, thanks. All right. You have a late slip, by the way? You have a late slip?
I'm on my break.
Oh, what AP are you doing?
Makeup AP.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, welcome. All right. Anyway, I don't want to do anything with complex zeros, so I don't think that's something I want. But I'll probably give you a polynomial that perhaps is factors of easy to graph, limits, rational functions for sure. I do want you to know how to graph. So I want you to know how to graph these things, but I'm not going to have you do like the whole synthetic division type stuff. Like that's a specific skills I don't care to assess. Um, but yeah, you should know how to graph a rational function. You should know how to find the asymptotes because that does involve limits. This is kind of interesting because we did talk about this. So I mean, this kind of goes back to differentiability. Um, so there's a bit of a time there. I don't like this problem because that's more synthetic division stuff. Um, we did have IVT. Notice I didn't put IVT on that list there. I think I tested guys enough on IVT, so I don't think I'm going to do IVT on the final exam. I'll let you guys know for sure by Wednesday. This is more just like drawing from some information. We kind of seen that, but I think most likely I'll say, here's a polynomial function. Let's graph it and tell me about end behavior using limits. And likewise for a rational function. So that ties to limits, right? I think that's fair. And then for unit 2, or chapter 3 precalculus, and I'll be done in a few minutes and you guys can get to work. Where are you taking your AP, Thomas? Where are you taking it? At the ASC? Oh, okay. I'll see you down there. I'll be making a bagel or something. All right. If you're hungry, I'll give you some. You're hilarious. Wait, what time did you start your? Oh wow. Okay. I don't know if I'll have you graph something like this. I think it's a little much. I think that's kind of crazy. But I'll give you a log function that will ask you to graph it, find a derivative. I think that's fair. I'm not gonna ask this stuff. I'm not gonna ask this stuff. So you can see good game 4, 5, 6. Yeah, yeah, see. I'm not gonna ask this. Don't worry about that. I'm not gonna ask you to solve exponential log equations. Like you guys have done so many times. I'm making this more of a calculus exam. So yeah, don't worry about this. Don't worry about this. Love this problem a lot, but no, I'm not gonna ask that. Actually, there is some calculus that comes into this, but you'll see it next year. But I think just very light with the first unit. So it's like, hey, here's a exponential or log or rational polynomial function, whatever, and just graph and do some limits and derivatives of it. So I'll give you guys more details by Wednesday, but it's gonna be very light on the first unit. It's really focused on the calculus part. It's really gonna be heavy on the calculus. So I think that's all I wanted to say. I'll stop the recording. I'll put it in Schoology. I'll also share that PDF, the screenshot I just shared, and really just do some practice. You guys have plenty of stuff. If you do feel like you want to study for another class, you feel like I really have a strong A in this class. I'm okay, fine, that's okay. But what I do want to do is I do want to give you back your tests. I do want to update the grades. And you guys use, I think it's the best you guys use to check. Yeah. Okay, so I think everyone knows how to do that, how to figure out what they need. But just so you know, whatever grade percentage you see, it tells you grade percentage. Okay, great, whatever. It's funny because we try to shut it down, but you guys have a workaround. It's okay. Whatever your grade percentage is, multiply that by 80% because 80% of your grade has been determined. After I finish grading this test, 80% of your grade has been determined. So multiply by 80%, and then the final exam is 20% of your grade. So say, for example, you have a 95% in the class right now. After I grade the test, so you have a 95% in the class. Okay. So you multiply that by 0.8. So you actually do 95 times 0.8. And then plus 0.2x, where x is your final exam grade. And say you want 93%, right? So you set it equal to 93. You solve that formula, right?
It's actually a function in BEST.
I know, but you guys should know this. I know. I get it.
This is what your grade is now. Where do you need to come?
I can do that. So if you work it out,
Credit point?
0.2x equals 17.
Predict the exact number.
So 17 divided by 0.2.
Oh, like the English.
So in order to keep your A, you need an 85% of the final exam. Okay. Now, about this test, I am going to curve it. It will be curved, mainly because I have 3 conditions to curve. The 3 conditions are if no one gets 100%, which no one's getting. But someone did get pretty close. Someone got pretty close, and 2 other people got pretty close too. One person just missed 1 point, 2 people missed 2 points, but still, for the masses, the average was lower than usual. The average right now turning out to about 80%. Usually average about 85 to 90%. So I think I do need to do a little. I mean, 80% is not a bad average. It's not terrible. But also the test was long too. I also have to acknowledge it also. So when those 3 conditions are met, I should curve. So in all likelihood, I'll probably do about a 5-point curve. But I might try to do a sliding curve also, because some people at the high end don't need those 5 points. Maybe they're cool 2 or 3 points. So if you got an A on this test, like you don't need 5 points. But if you got 60, but if you got like 60 or 70%, I want to give you guys a little more of a boost. I might give you like a 6 or 7% boost. But so it's equitable. I don't want like someone got like a 75%, and someone got 74%. 74% got 6 points. The 75% got 4 points. That'd be weak, right? I don't want to do that. I want to make sure it's fair so that everyone gets kind of a proper adjustment. So I'll figure that out while you guys were practicing. One thing we wanted to figure out. So
I'm curious if you round at the end.
we can't, unfortunately. And there's a lot of eyes, and I can't. Even if I try to, I'll get in trouble. So I can't. I have to abide by those rules. So we're not allowed to round, unfortunately. And we can't average the your lowest test grade at the final exam. Like I think that was a no, we can't either. No. Yeah. And again, even if I try doing it on my own, like it'll get red flagged. So I can't do it. Sorry. So
It rounded last year, I think.
yeah, this year we're not.
You're not rounding the grade either.
No, we can't. This is some higher level. If you don't like it, go talk to Dr. Wickham, Rich Dioli. Have at it. If you want to take that, if you're courageous and brave, go for it. But this is at much higher level, so I can't do anything about that. Okay, this is where I can do something. We can look back at like the old, if there's a homework that you turn in late and I gave you some penalty or a quiz, or maybe that's where I could go back and like say, okay, that's where I could control that. So that's where if it does come down to that, like yeah, you're at 92.999. And actually I do have a little bit of support for that. I will say that there is support for that. But if it's 92.7, let's say, and like I would have to do so many things to get you to 93. There's nothing I could do about that. Or 92.55. 92.55 is an A minus. And you have to live with that. So, but if it's 92, yeah, if it's really, really close, like where an extra point or two can make the difference, of course, I'll figure that out. I do want to do that for you, just so you know.
Yeah.
I really do. Generally, I do. But if it's like 92.5, it's 92.5. It's an A minus. So that's what we have to live with that. Okay. All right, that's all I want to say. All right.